Hello, welcome to Moment Your Truth. Today on Moment Your Truth, we're going to be talking about financial freedom. My name is Nadia Ashon and my co-host.
I am David Chibodi.
And we have our wonderful guest here, Nana Sewa.
Nana Sewa Boabin.
Amen. So please, our guest, please introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about yourself to our audience.
Hello, viewers and listeners on Adonai Radio. Like I said, my name is Nana Sewa Boabin, and I am a banker at Andrews Federal Credit Union. I've had banking experience for a little close to 15 years. I started as a teller and then moved up to become a head teller. Then from head teller to become assistant branch manager. And then from there, I jumped into a loan officer. So currently, my profession or my job title is a loan officer. I currently work at Andrews Federal Credit Union. And that's what I've been doing, just doing loans. So if you need any loans, you come to me, and I will give you what you need. So that's basically it. I'm married, I have 2 children. All right.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Well, thank you so much for having our wonderful guests here. And we are talking about financial freedom. So if you are not aware, April is Financial Literacy, and it is literally National Financial Literacy Month. So the whole month of April, we're going to be talking about financial freedom. And we're talking about financial freedom as it meets our requirement, but also mostly as Christian, what it means. Because it is important to realize that having that freedom, you know, not owing anybody is not really, sometimes people have to realize that not owing anybody should be people's goal. But you're always going to own. But right now, we just want to tell there's good debt and there's bad debt. And so our goal is to tell you how to have that financial freedom so that with the more you make, the more you save. So first, you're going to start our question, and we're going to refer to the credit history and the credit report.
Okay. When we talk about credit history or credit reports, let's begin with credit reports because the credit report derives from the history. So the way it works is the credit report is a record of borrower's credit that is a record of a borrower's credit history from a number of sources, unlike bank, credit card companies, collection agencies, governments, and like mainly is a master document behind credit. So if you ask what a credit report or credit history, they are like hand in hand. So with the credit report, you will see a history.
Okay. And I think it's also important. Most people don't realize how important credit report is and how your credit history also affects you. So we are talking about financial literacy. We want you to understand that you have to know your credit history in order for you to also understand your report when they give you your report. And that is an important too. So we also want to talk about what makes up, I know you talk about what makes up the credit report. And I think most times, most people don't realize the little things that go into your credit report. So how important is that report? Like if you are going to break it down, how important is that report? Because people don't even go get their report. They always want their credit score, but they don't even want to know what is in that report to give you that score.
Okay. So I'm glad you asked this question because we get this all the time. People come in and they want a loan so bad. And then the first thing they want to tell you is, oh, my score is this. You don't even care what's on the report. But the report carries weight. Because if you have a bad report, there is no way I'm going to give you any loans. And so when you tell them or if you try to educate them about their report, they don't want to hear that part. Why are you denying me? I have an excellent. Okay, let's say, for instance, if you file a bankruptcy, it doesn't really shift your credit score. But we are talking about your report. Your report is more important. So I'm looking at your credit report, and what I see doesn't warrant you to get the loan that you desired or that you requested for. So I'm just going to tell you that you recently had you recently filed a bankruptcy. You have not even discharged yet. And then if you are discharged, it takes about 2 years to clear yourself from getting another loan. But within that 2 years, you have to establish another credit. And the credit limit must also meet the new loan that you're about to obtain from us. Let's say, for instance, you you filed a bankruptcy, so you came back a year after discharge. You want about, and there is no credit established. You want about, let's say, $20,000. How do you expect me to give you $20,000 and you didn't have the financial discipline? You just went and filed a bankruptcy. So the trust, you have broken the trust for me to give you something or my money because of what I'm seeing, which is also called report. So if you want for me to believe you, you have to obtain what is called either secure Visa credit, and then you have to make sure that the Visa secure credit also has enough limit that will qualify you if it's, we have what is called secure loan and unsecured loan. So unsecured loans are like line of credit, like a credit card and or personal loan. Those are unsecured loans. So if you come in for unsecured loans, the likelihood to get that 20,000 is slim to nothing. So what I'm going to give you is maybe 1,000 or 2,000 just to test you, because we all believe in a second chance.
Of course.
Just to test you to see if you have changed from your bad ways to a good habit. So if I test you and then you pass, then the next time you come back to me, I'm likely to give you a little more than what you had. But in the meantime, I want to see that you have established another credit history, which is by getting a secure credit card. So once I see there is a reestablishment, then you are going to get at least something from me.
Okay.
But and not everything.
So, so filing bankruptcy is something that might be found on the report. How about, I heard something to do with rent payments and etc. Do you find that also on the
All
report?
that are sent is called collection.
All of that is found on the report.
And as I mentioned to you, this shows on your credit report, collection agencies, government. So if you default in your rent payment,
It shows
you
on
are
there.
likely getting sent to a collection. And the collection also shows on your credit report. So we are looking for responsible individual.
Yeah.
Like if you come to me, because I don't know you from anywhere.
Right.
And then you coming to me to tell me that this is how much you want. And unfortunately, we don't run on a bankruptcy business. So I have to make sure that the person coming to me has the discipline of making the payment. So in order for me to give you this, I have to go through the report or the history that, oh, so I have a list here. It says, to make up, like you asked me, what makes up the credit report is paying your bills.
Of course.
You have to be on time, not just paying your bills, because I'm looking for delinquencies too.
What does that mean?
The delinquencies are if you fail to meet your payment on time.
Okay, so you're always late, paying late, paying late.
So I'm looking for all that, the regulatories. So if I'm showing collections, it could be medicals. It used not to be reported, but now they report every medical bill. Let's say you go to emergency room, then you run away and say, you know what, I'm going to change my number because of too many calls from collection agencies. You're not running anywhere because your social security has been given or has been taken. So they're going to report you to their collection agency. Then their collection agency will send you to the credit bureau. The credit bureau will report that on your credit history. So as I'm going through your loan report or your credit report, if all this shows, it tells me that you are not responsible.
And that is
Making sense.
yeah, and that is really important. You know, people always want to say, how do you build that credit? You know, because most times people will tell you, get a department store card, and so you end up with all this department store card. And I'm telling you, this is financial literacy, a moment of truth. Those are not building credit. So please tell us, how do you build your credit? The right way to build credit so you have financial freedom.
So like I said, building a credit can be a little tricky.
Okay.
But there is always a way. I didn't build my credit on my mother's credit. But there is also an option
Of
to
course,
that.
on parents.
A lot of like youth who has no credit whatsoever. And then you know how they graduate, they want to get a job and they also want to buy a car right away. I'm not giving a youth like age 20
Of course not.
a $20,000 loan,
No.
knowing that she just started a job. Now, let me tell you this, employment history also counts.
Of course.
So you have to have some establishment in your employment history, because these folks, they just jump from one job to another. They can't
that also
sit.
shows.
Oh, yes.
And
So
that is affecting you, building your credit, or affecting,
getting loans approved.
getting loans. Okay.
Getting loans.
Okay.
So we look at all these things. So what you asked me was how you can build up a credit. Secure share, secure credit card.
Okay. So when you say secure share, what does that mean?
Secure share, and another company also call it credit builder.
Okay.
What it means is you have to have your money ready. It's mainly required refundable deposit that you use as a collateral.
Okay.
And then you get the loan from the bank, and then you while you pay it off, the money, your monthly minimum payment will get depleted to your savings. So the money will be held in the savings while you're making the payment. So if it's $400 is your minimum payment, then each month that you make the payment, then it will get depleted from your savings and then it get depleted to your savings account.
Okay.
So then by the time you finish the payment, you will see the full money back. But that's a discipline for the bank to know that you can pay. In case you default, that money is there for us to withhold it from you.
I see. So if you don't have money, you cannot do the secure credit.
You have to have money.
So you have to have
Yes.
money. So here you are trying to build your credit. So the only way to build it is to have money.
That's
to have
one
that
of them.
secure. Okay.
That's one of them.
That's one.
So
okay.
another one is you can also be an authorized user on either your parents or somebody that trusts you. You can be an authorized user on your credit card. That's another way to build your credit. But the reason why I said it's a little tricky is if I'm helping you to build your credit. Now, people need to hear this, because I get people fighting us all the time.
Okay.
That's because they don't know the difference. So if I help you with the credit, let's say I have 800 score, and I'm helping you to buy a car worth 20,000. If you come tomorrow alone without me, you're not going to get a 20,000.
Of course not.
Because the money that you borrowed under me was not borrowed alone. So I may tell you that I'm going to counter you. Now another fight comes in. How come I was approved last time and you're not giving me the same amount or maybe more? That's because I didn't trust you alone to give you the 20,000. It was through somebody's help that you receive that 20,000. Okay. So you're not going to get the full 20,000. It may be way lower. Okay. See, that's a startup for you. Okay. Now, another thing that you can also do is to get a co-signer. Okay. Yeah. So your parents, I wouldn't do co-signing.
I was thinking in my head, I'm glad you said that.
I will not do
Please don't go sign for your friends.
Just
please.
be mindful of that.
Yes, please don't go sign for your
I've seen people working with their boyfriends, and because of love, in the name of love, they are now taking, because one, you do not benefit from the loan proceeds as a co-signer. It's only if I am the person that is looking for the co-sign, I'm the only one that is benefiting from the loan proceeds. So mind you, you being the helper helping me, you are not benefiting at all. So, but if the loan default, they are coming after you, and so is me. So doing co-signing, for me, I will do it for my husband.
Me too.
Of course.
I will probably think twice doing it for my children.
And that is true.
Only if they show me that they are very disciplined.
That's it.
Then I will say yes to that. But I will try to, see, this is the time that every parent should guide and teach and educate their children how to build credit, because it's very, very important. Viewers out there, you may think that, what does this got to do with financial freedom? If you have a financial burden, your stress level will go high.
Very high.
And that's because you have a bad credit.
Yes.
And if you have a bad credit, there is no way you're going to have a very peaceful sleep. You will lose sleep.
Yes.
So it's very important to know all these things. So when you go into the store and collecting card from Coast to
JC,
Macy's to
Finney.
Nordstrom to you name it.
Victoria's Secret.
It's all
Everybody wants to
building
give
up.
you. Yes.
And
yeah.
then if you decide to consolidate all those loans, it's never possible to get those loans. Guess why? Reason being, if you're relieving all this institution and then you bring in their burden on me, I'm likely to tell you that it's a no. Because I don't know if you're going to pay me.
Of course.
So loan consolidation is treated like a high-risk loan. So most of the time, you have to show like a high income to qualify for those loans. Otherwise, and a good credit score too. Otherwise, it's a no-no.
So you're saying that the loan consolidation we've been hearing about is not about, can you explain? Because what I understood or I thought it meant was like all those loans are put together, coming to an agreement, and you pay a certain amount every month. But I'm thinking that amount still goes to all those companies, but
We pay.
So the bank pays off?
We pay, yes. So before you walk in, you have all these banks that you owe. We call it creditors. You have all these creditors, pay off balance is ready. So you will bring it to me as a loan officer. And what I will do is I will put in on the note section that we are paying off this Navy Federal, Andrews, Citibank, their address, this and that. So if it's a 20 or 40,000, we are paying all these individuals. So once they are paid, now we have relieved them from their burden. Now you're going to put it on me.
Oh.
So I'm taking all these institutions' burden on me. Now, how do I know that you're going to pay me?
I see.
That's a risk.
Exactly. So the chances of approving those loans are slim all the time because of why now? We call it why now. If you are able to pay it, why can't you pay those creditors? But why now? Why us? You know?
I see. Because, you hear a lot, and my co-host is right. You hear a lot of people, a lot of advertisements saying that we will take your loans and we will consolidate it and we will, pay them. And then you pay a smaller payment and we will negotiate. You know how they make it sound so good? Yes, please tell us, are they liars?
But, like I said, we have agencies. We have, besides banks, credit card companies, and you name it. We have agencies that are set to do all these things, but be mindful that when they give you the disclosure, you read it for your own benefit, because they may tell you and then sound like they're going to give you 100 million and you pay $10. Think about the finance charge. The finance charge can also put you in debt. So it's not all that honey, exactly, honey and milk. So a lot of people get these loans, they don't even care because they are relieved or they think they are making one payment. They don't even care to read the disclosure. All they care about is, oh my God, I'm finally got this loan together and I can make the payment. But that's a lie. Yes, I can tell you if you get 200 or 300,000 loan, I can tell you that you are going to pay as little as maybe $10 a month. But guess what I'm doing for you? I'm going to kill you at the end. Because the profit that I'm making off of that 300,000 loan might be equate to the amount that you borrowed from me.
Wow.
We have those agencies that charge about 100%. You won't 100% interest rate.
Wow.
Right?
So moment of truth. Remember, read the fine print. The fine print are there for your benefit. So if you borrow $200,000 and you are paying 100%, so your $200,000 went to $400,000, and that is what you are paying. Is it worth it? No. So we are talking about financial freedom. So please hear us and learn something. Moment of truth. So one of the things that I also want to talk about is, as we're talking about building your credit, we want to talk about having your credit history, bad or good. Because sometimes people say, oh, my credit history is so good that they don't even worry about it. But you can have good credit history and still have stuff on your credit that you need to go back and check. How do you go about it? How do you learn those things?
It's very, very important for every viewer that is watching us from afar and near to obtain your credit report once a year.
Okay.
Because what most of us don't know is we have hackers. Identity theft is on the rise. A lot of people that sit back and say, oh, I have a good credit, so I have nothing to worry about, and I know if I walk into the bank, I can be approved for however much I want. Don't sit back and always wait till something happens. Every year you are required by law to get a free credit report so you can check what's on the credit report. Because, and the most important thing is, because I've had few people that have come with and gone with tears because they didn't know these things were happening to them. Somebody stole their social security number, and then they use it to buy bigger stuff that they didn't know of. They thought they have it all together, but that wasn't the case. So you have to be very, very careful, and it's very important that you call or the free annual credit. You can get it from there. You can go online. They have that resources available that you can get. I think it takes about 7 business days to arrive in the mail. And then you just read it for yourself. Make sure your date of birth is correct. What is reported on your credit is also right, because all that you know is medical reports. They may steal your identity to do all these things. They may use it to go to emergency room, bring higher debt on you, buy a house. I don't know, this happened about maybe, I would say about 5-6 years ago. There was this girl that graduated from college, and then she got a decent job, and so she decided to buy her own house. Little did she know that somebody was using her identity to buy houses. So she couldn't qualify for this. She couldn't qualify for this because of what has happened to her. So, and then it takes a long time to fix.
It does.
Yeah.
It takes a very long time because first they have to put in for investigation, open up for investigation, and it's not overnight. You have to keep calling to make sure they're still doing the investigation. So the hassle and the torture and the stress that it will put you through is enough to say, I need my credit report check each year. It's very, very important that you get your credit check all the time so you know what's going on.
Okay. So I know there's 3 credit
Bureau.
reporting bureaus. So I know some people say, oh, this one is better, this one is better. But, if you're getting free once a year, you can require for all 3 of them.
It's always all the 3 of them. The credit bureau, we have the Experian, we have the TransUnion, and then we have Equifax. See, our company use Experian, and we use Experian not because the other 2 are bad. That's because they're affordable. Okay. So every company goes with what is affordable to them, but they're all the same. There's nothing better than the other. They're all the same. So we used to use TransUnion, and then they jacked their price.
Of course.
So we decided to switch to Experian. So it's all about the pricing, but they're all the same. Okay. Yes.
So I like the fact that, viewers watching, please pay attention to the fact that I know people like stagnant. People say the more you check your credit score, it drops. So don't check your credit score. So what will you tell viewers about checking up your credit scores, being aware of how much information is being put on your credit?
So checking your credit score depends. Too many inquiries can also hurt your points.
Okay.
So try to avoid that. And then it's too many, and the period that you are doing this can affect it significantly. So you have to be mindful of that. We've had people that will go from, and those are the ones that have bad credit. They always want to try their luck. So they will jump from Citizen Bank to TD Bank to credit unions. All they are trying to do is, but what they don't know is it's affecting them. So if you come to me as a loan officer, I'm looking at your credit report. Okay, so what is this? What do you have all these many inquiries? That alone can disqualify you for a loan, just so you know. So I'm looking at this inquiry. So my thought process behind approving the loan is, oh my goodness, what is she doing?
You should take loans from all these people, and they
no,
have to,
if you take a loan, it will be reported so that I can see. But it's not. I want to know what you're doing. Why are you trying all these banks? Are you some kind of 419 person? So you give me too much to think about you. So I don't want to even see you. I'm looking at within this this month, you have done about 6-7 inquiries. That's a no to me. So I'm not giving you credit for too many. And just so you know, that also drop your point. So if you don't have a good credit, avoid too much inquiries, because that's going to affect you, your credit score as well.
So the one free each year is enough.
It's great.
Okay.
It's great.
And so when you say inquiry, it is important for people to understand what it means by inquiry, because people don't realize that if you go to J.C. Penney and you ask them or they ask you, do you want to have their card, they will make a soft inquiry. Am I right or wrong?
That is not a soft inquiry.
Oh, okay.
Soft inquiries are what they send you as pre-approval.
Okay.
Like, you know, when you go home, you check your mails, you will see like
all these
10 credit card companies saying that we give you $10,000. Don't believe them.
Exactly. Those are soft inquiries because you didn't authorize them to do it. But the ones that you physically go there and say, hey, I want a credit card from J.C. Penney, like you mentioned, of course, it's going to be a hard inquiry. But one inquiry does not change anything. 2 inquiries does not change anything. The more you do it within a short time is what makes a huge difference. So that's what you need to be mindful of. And then let's say within 6 months, you open too many accounts. Like you just went to JCPenney, you just opened a credit card. Then from JCPenney, you went to Chase, you opened another a month after. Then you did the same thing a month after again. So within 6 months, you have opened new accounts, like 6-7 accounts. I'm not giving you, because now I'm looking at you like you're going through hardship.
Of course.
So the likelihood to file a bankruptcy is high.
Very high.
So I'm not going to give you that.
And you are thinking you're building your credit. Like taking
that's
more
what
credit.
Some people think.
Yes.
But that's not a good way to build a credit.
So moment
Thank
of
you very
truth.
much.
Remember, in a year period, you can get your free annual reports, from all the 3 of them. And if you're building your credit, you have to know how to do it in terms of not getting more credit cards. So, and that is important. So one of the things people always talk about is, the credit card. Using the credit card to build your credit history. So please tell us, how does a credit card help you or harm you?
Credit card is good if you use it wisely.
Okay.
Because we have people that, see, it's all about education.
Of course.
If you don't have education about how to use your credit card, and especially for those that are the starters, the ones that are trying to build their credit, they think by using it frequently will push will increase their score. But that's not the case. You have to see, like, for instance, secure visa that I told you about. The secure visa, you have to, because what we are looking, the reason why we started with the secure visa, we are looking for financial discipline, how you use your money, your own money. A lot of people will come and start with $500. Tomorrow they will use it up.
Of course.
That's not looking good on you.
Okay.
So your impulse is bad enough to even graduate from secure credit to get a regular credit card. So credit card is good, but it's how you use it can make it really bad for you. You charge it today, you charge it tomorrow because you think that will help you to build your credit, but no. The only way you can build your credit is to use it and pay it back. And to avoid interest, this is how I built my credit. I was using it. I don't wait till the interest is generated. I will use it like if I go to grocery and I know that I have the money in my bank account, I will use it right there, which is my credit card. And then I'll turn around and pay it right back. So I never waited for any interest to be generated on my statement.
Wow.
That was the smart way of building a credit, and then also save money. So, but then if you rack it up, then you become overwhelmed.
Yeah.
And then you start making only the minimum payment. But think about the variable rate that was calculated into it. And then also your daily interest that you're paying on top of that.
Course.
So it's a stress that nobody wants to go through. And so don't make it a habit saying that, okay, whatever, this is what the bank is giving me, so I'm just going to stick with the minimum payment. Think about how much you owed in the past and what you are paying now. People can tell me that, how come my credit balance still remains the same and I keep paying?
You are paying the minimum, you're only paying the interest.
Exactly. How much are you paying? Yes.
Could you please take the call? We have a call online. Let's hear what the caller has to say.
Okay.
Hello? Hello?
Yes, we are listening. Yes,
Hello?
Yes, we can hear you.
All right. I have a quick question, please.
Sure.
All right. So, my name is Enoch, and I have a very bad credit. So, a friend introduced me to their kind of company, and they do repair credit. So what I realized was most of my debt has been written off. Now I can't open an account with bank. They always tell me there is something on my credit. They don't tell me there is something on my report. What do I have to do?
Okay.
So your question was, you did your credit payment through repair credit?
Yes, and then
I
realized that the debt that was making it difficult for me was being written off.
It's written off.
Was written off. So my credit, came up. So I have a good credit, but I can't open an account with banks.
Okay, you talking about bank, right? So we have two different ways. It's a two different way. You talking about credit card, but then if you can open an account with banks, we have what is called check system. When it comes to account opening, so check system are totally different from owing somebody. Having a loan. Now, check system is when you open a bank account in the past, and then you fail to pay it. If you fail to pay it, the bank is going to report you to one of these credit bureaus that they use. And so if you come to me to open an account and then I pull the check system, the check system is what we use to verify all our new members. So I'm pulling it and then the bank shows up. So if it shows up, whether it's been 2-3 years, that you owe maybe a significant amount, I am going to tell them to go and resolve that payment with the bank before, and then coming back, you have to bring a letter with you as a proof of payment, full payment. Then I can proceed with the account opening. So that's a totally different thing from loan. It's called check system. So you need to find out from the bank that denied you of opening the account, and then find out which bank do you owe, so you can go and settle that with that bank, and next time you'll be able to open an account. So that's what is hindering you.
All right. Quick follow-up. They told me that the amount that I was talking about is being written off, so there's no way you can go and then pay that money. It's been written off.
Okay, if it was... Let me ask you this, sir. If it was written off, was it taken off? That's the difference that you have to realize, that some banks will tell you that, okay, your debt is written off, but was it removed from the check system? If it was not removed from the check system, we consider it as outstanding bill, which is why it's imperative to go to that bank that wrote it off for you and get a letter stating that this bill, such and such, under this person's name, is paid in full. So you can walk with that letter and then be set free and get your account open. But a lot of banks fail to do that. A lot of banks have a reputation to promise you one thing, but they don't do the other. So if you were told that the debt is written off, but then it's still showing on the check system, then nobody is going to give you anything until it's removed. So make sure that you go to that bank and then have it removed from the check system.
So who do I talk to when I go to the bank? Is it the loan officer? Who do I talk to?
No, you go to so when you went to open the account, which bank did you go to?
Bank of the West.
Bank of the West?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so go to the Bank of the West and ask them which bank showed up when you try to open the account, and they will be able to tell you the bank that reported you. So that is the bank you will follow through, and then have them remove it from the check system. It's important that you remember this name because that's where they report you to. So ask them which bank reported you to check system. And then when they tell you which bank, then you call them or go there and then tell them your situation, because you were promised that the balance is going to be written off. So it needs to be removed from the check system to give you the relief to open an account.
All right. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
You're
and
welcome.
Have a good day.
Okay.
Wow.
Okay, thank you
Thank
so
you
much
very
to
much.
our wonderful guest talking about responsibility. So now we're going to be talking, as we're talking about building up your credit and your credit history and, the bad thing that is on your report, we also want to talk about the possibility of having no credit report at all.
So no credit report is good, but it's not always good.
Okay.
Because how do I know that you will pay me the loan that you came for, and you have nothing to show for?
Mm-hmm.
So if you come into me with no credit at all, which is why we always recommend that you get a co-signer, or maybe what I normally tell them is you can use your mother alone.
Mm-hmm.
If I see that your employment history is about 3 months, or you don't have anything to show for, then I always recommend that, because we can give you the loan, not even $1,000.
Okay.
So, but then you are in need of what you want to get. So then I would rather ask you to either use your parents or whoever that will be willing to take the loan on your behalf, and then you pay them back. And however way you try to build your credit, like again, the secure credit, then you can start off with the secure credit until you bring yourself up. But no credit, we grade them like us, Andrews, on the C level.
Okay.
So you're going to get a high interest.
Okay. And when you say C level, what does that mean?
So we have gradings of our scores.
Mm-hmm.
We have from 300 to 850.
Okay.
850 being excellent, and so is 750.
Okay.
Between 750 to 850 is excellent. But the difference between the 750 and 850 is if you come in with 850, I may not ask to verify your income. So I'm just going to give you the loan because of your discipline.
Okay.
The 750 I may verify, and then also your lending relationship too. We also have what is called trade lines. So I'm checking your trade lines. The trade lines must be at least established for 24 good months.
What is trade lines?
So the trade lines are how long you've had that credit.
Okay.
So that's what I'm looking at. So you can come to me with 1 month establishment and say, okay, I have a credit. How long have you had the credit? 2 months? No, that's not enough to qualify you. So little things on the credit report are the reason why we decline loans, or we deny loans. But then some people say, why? You told me to build my credit. I have built it. No, it's not enough. See, it's just like we worshiping God. God wants more from us, right? So you don't come to church and expect more from God because you just
I'm in church on Sundays.
You just raise your hand and say, I accepted Lord as my personal Savior. Father, you said once I raise my hands, I will get what I need. God wants to see what you are going to do for Him before, or you are going to walk in line or His commandment before whatever your desire will be given to you.
Of course.
So you don't come to me with 1 month establishment and say, you know what, I have credit. How long? So those are what is called trade lines.
Okay.
You know, and then, so because you have no credit, now we're talking about no credit means zero credit. Some people may have no credit not because they don't have any credit. They may have credit, but it's messed up.
Okay.
So if you messed it up, then you go back to zero.
No credit.
But you are worse than the one who
didn't
has
have it.
nothing.
Nothing at all.
know?
so
I
zero
see that.
doesn't mean zero. Zero means that
Exactly.
you have work, and zero
Somebody
means
has
that
negative.
there's a lot of
Exactly.
negative
And then
against you.
also, people travel. So you live in America, and then you went overseas, or you moved to your country maybe for maybe a year or 2 or 3. That will also set you back to no credit, because
okay.
there is
I
no
didn't know that.
activity. So no activities can
okay.
also set you back to no credit,
Credits.
because there is nothing going on.
Nothing to show.
So the only way to grow your credit is continuous activities.
Okay.
And then that will give you something on your credit report. So no credit, like I said, the grade C, we have a grade A. It's called A tier. We have B tier. Then we have C tier. Then we have D tier. Then we have the
You don't want to be that.
we
Or they
have
don't even
the
mention you.
tier. So the tier, we don't want to look at you. When I say we don't want to look at you, doesn't mean that we send you away. We educate you on what to do to bring your credit score up. Okay. People get a secure credit, and then they refuse to pay what's on their credit report. That's not going to help you. So for no credit, who has nothing on your credit report, have a high chance of getting their loans approved with the assistance of maybe their parent or so as a co-signer, if they have nothing on their credit report. But then you have people that had credit, but they jacked it up so badly that you don't even want to see. So you have nothing to report on your credit. So we call them limited credit history. Okay. Limited credit history means that we can use even the little that you have to do anything. So we don't consider giving you anything until you build it back up.
It's interesting you mentioned that, because thinking back, sometimes you think you do not have credit, but you actually do. So I thought I didn't have credit. And then I went to the bank and I realized I have a good credit score. And I was like, where's that coming from? And it was coming from repayments of student loans. Sometimes we don't consider student loan as credit. So you're like, oh, I don't have any credit cards. But really, if you have a student loan that you're not paying and you're trying to get other lines of credit, it might actually affect you. You would think you have no credit, but you really do.
Okay, now let me tap into that. Okay. So student loan are loans that you cannot avoid paying.
Right.
So we don't count it as income or as part of your debt, because whether you like it or not, it's the only debt you cannot write off or file a bankruptcy on. So we normally don't use your student loan to decision other loans, like unsecured loans or even the car loans, because we know that whether you like it or not, the government is going to get your money.
Right.
So we don't even consider that as anything on your credit. Yes, it will help bring your score up, but we also that's not the only thing we are looking at. We are looking at different things. So you may say, well, I have it. I have a good, like you said, for instance, you said you have a good score, but what you might not know is if you will walk into the bank and ask for maybe $10,000, you may be denied $10,000 because you never.
We got more than that.
Well, probably
we were surprised.
You said you got, which means you did it with somebody.
No, she went there with me because I said I don't. She said she knows much about it, so let's go and I'll ask questions. And we went and we didn't need anything.
So you said you got more. Did they verify or they just did a run through for you?
I don't know what you call it.
Because
because
they can see we are funny in our field. We can ask you your income.
Yes,
we can, and then we can quickly check your exactly.
Yes.
And then we can say, oh, yeah, you may be pre-approved for 10,000. You may qualify for this. You may, but the word may, we have to be careful of may. May means you are going to or you are likely to. So that may should put a warning sign that, oh, well, you said may. Is it really?
It's not a guarantee.
Is it really a likely? So, yes, if they didn't go to the system but then just told you verbally because they collected all this information from you, I can give you the same information. But then I have to use may. So you don't count and hold me accountable for what you didn't want to hear. So that's something that you need to be mindful of. May is always not a good thing.
So we are literally talking about financial freedom, and in our community, one of the biggest thing in our community is not knowing what you are building. Not knowing where your resources. We know you get a paycheck, and then your paycheck comes in, and then your money is gone because
where did it go?
Where did it go? But it's because of the bill. Sometimes people don't realize your bill to income ratio also affect even your credit score. And the same thing with the credit card. You have the credit card and you are maxed out on that credit card. That also affects your credit history. So please tell us some more about your bill to your income ratio.
So we have what is called DTI, which is debt to income.
Okay.
And then we have disposable income. And then we have obligations. So the debt ratio is how much debt you have accumulated versus your income. So if I'm looking at your income, you need $20,000, but you only make $3,000 a month.
Good luck.
I'm not looking at how much your monthly minimum payment is going to be, but I'm looking at other debt,
That you may have.
which is your other obligations that you meet daily. So I need your rent or your mortgage. It's going to be calculated into your debt. I need to know your cell phone bills. I need to know your other loan payment. So minimum payment is a factor. Your rent or mortgage is a factor. Other loans is also a factor. So if all these loans combine or other obligations combine outweighs your
income,
you can get the loan.
How do you mean outweighs your income?
Oh, please believe me.
100% of the income goes into all of that?
You gave me only $3,000 a month, but you need $20,000. Besides the $20,000 that you need from me, you have other bills on the credit report. So you have other credit cards open. You also paying or live in a house that pays like $2,000.
Okay.
But then you only give exactly.
Yes.
So how much do you have left?
Yes.
$1,000 after paying the rent or the mortgage. Now you're going to convince me that that is not even counted for because we don't care how you eat.
That's not important today. You could be starving.
With that, those
That's
things
not
we don't
important.
care.
Yes.
We just need to know how you can pay us.
Yes.
So we only count what's on the report. So if you have all this on your report, other loans, rent, this, that, and you only left with $1,000 after your rent payment, how likely are you going to pay me getting $20,000 from me? So I have to tell you. So that's one of the factors. Besides that, we have what is called disposable income. So after seeing all these payments, you gave me, let's say, a month you make $10,000. Okay, then
and
we
that's
always
good money. $10,000 is good money.
We always use the gross,
of course.
So it will help you. So $10,000 is your monthly, and your mortgage payment is only $1,500. Okay, and then your other obligations on a credit report is about combined is about $3,000. Let's say $4,000 to be exact. So in all, you're about $5,000. What can you not do with the rest of the $5,000? So you are likely to get the loan.
Right.
So your disposable income can also tell me that I'm okay. I can go home with peace of mind because you will pay me regardless.
So do they use percentages of how much you're earning, how much is going out, or?
They don't use percentages, but it's a system. And if you do it, the more you do it, you just know it by heart. Because I'm counting. Okay, we do calculators. We use calculators. So all those minimum payments, I'm using the minimum. See, we have a debt load, and then we have a debt ratio. So the debt load is, let's say you went to Macy's. You have a credit limit of 1,000. JCPenney, your limit is 1,000. Chase, your limit is 3,000. Those are called debt load. And then we have debt ratio. debt ratios are your minimum payments that you're making out of all these creditors. So if one outweighs the other, that's a likelihood to get a loan denied too. But people say, oh no, I have a limit of 3,000, but I've only used 500. We don't want to hear that, because the chances are you can use them all tomorrow.
Yep.
So you may have a high limit and then use just about 1% of the limit. But that doesn't guarantee a loan approval, because guess what? We don't know what your situation might change to tomorrow. So we just have to be careful. So when your debt load is also high, we can deny your loan.
Wow. So Moment Church, we're talking about finances and financial freedom. I think we as community need to do better. And one way to do better is to be educated. Yes, know what you have and know what you are spending. So I definitely will encourage people to definitely get your credit report. And know your credit history. But apart from your credit report, your credit history, and I think also, what will you tell our viewers? Know your bills, have a budget. What else will you tell your viewers as we're talking about financial freedom?
Okay. We all have a tendency to want, but then we forget about the need part.
Of course.
So viewers, as you are watching us from far and near, please be mindful of your spending habit.
Okay.
Because your spending habit might lead you to financial bondage, seriously bondage. A lot of people come to us crying. They don't know what to do with their debt. Now they're looking for a relief, but you're not going to get a relief from me. Sometimes you have to be firm.
Of course.
But they think you are just not a good person or something. But you have to be firm and then teach them. They don't want to hear the teaching part.
Nope.
Because their mind is not set to do the right thing. So if you're not ready to hear me out, then you are likely not getting anything from me. Okay. But it's important that if you are going around racking all this debt, know that you have to pay it back on time. It's very, very important, because delinquencies or the late payments can also hurt your credit. So let's all be mindful that we have to pay our bills on time. That is why I always recommend that you set up automatic payment. Automatic payments gives you the free peace of mind. You don't have to worry about, just like yesterday, Macy's, I forgot to pay Macy's because I haven't set the automatic payment. I used to, and then I canceled it, and I went back to get it again. So now I forgot to set the automatic payment. And because I forgot, because I'm used to setting automatic payment to all my bills, and because I forgot to do it, they charge me the late fee.
Of course, they love charging late fees.
Because on my record, it shows that I'm disciplined in my payment, when I call them, they're going to remove that fee from me. So if you are always on time, and this happens to you once in a while, they are going to remove it from you. So let's be mindful of that. And then another thing that I also want to stress on is, if you have the credit limit, please do not go and use all the limit.
Of course.
Because loan officers are looking for your financial discipline. So if you exhaust or use up your credit limit, then to me, you are going through hardship. I don't care the situation that you're going through. People may not go through hardship, but they just love to buy.
Of course.
But then that's what you're giving me. The impression you're giving me is,
I'm going through hardship.
Exactly. And I'm not going to ask you. I'm just going to deny it. Because when I'm decisioning a loan, you are not in my face, so I have no mercy for you to ask you questions. So I'm just looking at what's on there and then judge my decision from what I see. So you don't want to give me that impression that you're going through hardship, but exhausting all your credit limit. Try to use it up to 50%, whatever your limit is. So if you have 3,000, at least try to do 1,000 or 12 or to 1,500 the most. Don't use it up because you love everything you see.
We love shopping.
But think about, in the future, I may need a car. In the future, I may need to start my own business. In the future, I may move to maybe a place, because all that can affect you. Apartment, if you have a bad credit, you can move to a decent area. You'll be forced to live in a ghetto. And then your life will be put at risk. So you have to be very, very mindful of how you use your credit. And that way, we will be free from all this mess.
So, does that mean that if you are debt free, you are financially free, or it's not necessarily so? If you have no debts, then hey, you are financial freedom.
Financial
is
freedom.
That what it is?
Financial freedom means no debt. Is that the
what it
truth?
means?
Moment of truth, we want to know.
Financial freedom, it's broad. It's a broad question. Having financial freedom is good. But what do you call good and what do you call bad? Because we're constantly making payments, so there is no such thing as financial freedom. If you're talking about debt, fine. But if you pay your bills off, now mind you, you have to keep using your credit card if you want your credit score to grow. So you will never become financial free. It's never like that, because the country forces you to be in debt. That's the main goal. Stay in debt. The only way I can see that you are responsible is to remain in debt.
Oh, man.
So there is no such thing as financial freedom. But the discipline is what you need.
Okay.
Because now you have to grow your credit. Your credit might be 800 tomorrow or today, but if you don't use it, if you don't use your credit, yes, you may be debt free today, but if you don't use it continuously, guess what? You're not going to see the 800 that you saw yesterday. It will drop because there is no activities. So you have to use it continuously, but you have to pay it back. So don't use it on the things that will give you the minimum payment. Use it on the things that you know you have the money in the bank to pay it off. And then use it when it's really needed. But don't use it like a furniture. Furniture is needed. Everybody wants it, but not when you know that it's still in good condition. And then because you went to your friend's house and saw another one, so you want to jump and buy the same thing. That's not a need. That's a want. So we have to think about what we need versus what we want, because that's what leads us to these bondages. So if you are able to get this financial mindset of, or the discipline of, not everything that I see is a need, then that's what you call financial freedom.
When you
But
know what your
the
need
freedom
is,
to be debt free is never the case, because you have to use it continuously to earn your points. If it stops, your credit score stops.
So I was watching David Ramsey, and I think as Christians we need to have surround ourselves with people that are also managing their resources. You know, I tell people all the time, we are very good in Christians as being spiritual, but we are not good in being mindful of our credit history, our investment. We don't do investment in terms of the resources. We just have the money, we pay our tithe, we pay our bills, but we don't invest. So when we're talking about financial freedom, we're talking about not owing unnecessary debt and also being able to invest. You know, because God loves a cheerful giver, meaning that you're able to invest so that when you are given, it doesn't stress you. You know, when you don't have it, when you give, your heart is, you know, it's like even paying your tithe is a struggle for you, and that's not what we want. Financial freedom means that you're able to know where your responsibilities are, and you're able to know where your investments are. You're able to be able to breathe and go to sleep and wake up and know that, okay, I have a budget. I make $10,000 and my bill is $5,000, and I'm able to invest and I'm able to give and I'm able to serve God without worrying about what God has given me, because God, for those who much is giving, much is expected. So God is going to expect a lot out of you. Is the responsibility that God is giving you, is it becoming more of a hindrance to you, or is it being a blessing to you? And that is what financial freedom is, knowing what your responsibilities are and making sure you're taking care of your responsibility and your investment at the same time, and being a cheerful giver.
But what I know, you did say something about we are being spiritual. Because we are being so spiritual, we depend on God to do everything for us.
Amen. God to the rescue.
God can do everything, but we are here on this earth.
Yes.
We haven't become spirit yet. So what this earthly propose to us or bring to us is what we have to go by, right? So the guideline is there, but we refuse to go by the guideline because we know God can do all things. So a lot of Christians have become crippled because even when they're sick, they don't want to go to the hospital. That's ignorant. Why do you think God is in own infinite wisdom brought these doctors? Well, what is the purpose of the doctors? They are there to to tell you or diagnose you or to take care of you while you're praying. My husband once told me that there was something that happened to me, and I was praying on it, and then he said, you need to go and see a doctor. I said, well, I know God will take care of me. I said, I understand, but while you're praying, God will lead you to the right person
doctor. Amen.
to take care of you. I said, okay, now I'm embarrassed. Okay, I'll go. But you know what? This was an issue that has been hindered for a while, lingered for a while, that I've gone from different specialists, and nobody could do anything for me. So I met with this young lady, and I thought she was going to play with me. I said, look at her. This little one, what is she going to do? All these big people couldn't even find out what is bothering me. But look at, and it's the way she was talking to me, it's like she was playing. But she looked at all the charts and said, you know what? You've run all the tests, but this particular one I want you to do for me. So I went and did the test. And the little one and the mind was able to figure out what was wrong. So when I came home, I had to thank my husband. I said, you know what? Sometimes I feel like you are not too prayerful, but then you have the wisdom.
Amen.
Because if you didn't lead me to that, then I would have thought that I'm waiting for God to bring healing from above. Yes, he does it for ignorance. But then again, we have to be wise.
Of course.
Because he gave us wisdom. So, because we have become so spiritual, we don't even take the, what is it called? The importance of what will be good for our lives, or what will be important for even our offspring. Because when I'm no more here, what is going to happen to my children? So investment is not only good for us, but it's also good for our children.
Okay.
Because when you are not here, you don't have to depend on your uncle. Your uncle has his own responsibility to deal with. So let's make sure that we talk to financial advisors. When we go to banks to check maybe our balances or do other business, let's find out if there is any free, or even go to classes. You can go to, there are so many seminars around that you can, financial counselors, you can get to one of them. You can go online, search for financial counselors to help you to make an informed decision on your choices. Otherwise, we are just going to keep giving unwillingly. And if you are doing something for God unwillingly, there's no blessings received from that. So let's do what we could, because as if I didn't go to this profession, I wouldn't have known that making less, you can still earn more or save more. Because what we always think is we need more to save more. You don't need more to save more. You need to plan well, so you can afford what you want, and not what somebody is pushing you into. And you know what? There's so many competitions too. People just want to be like other people.
Of course.
Trying to be
But
like the Jones.
exactly. If you want to be like me, you have to be like me for everything that I hold, you know. But if you want to be like me without knowing what I do for a living, then that can crush you.
Of course.
So let's stop spending unwisely and know what we are capable of doing with our finances, than just jumping to do more knowing that other people are doing. So it doesn't become a competition and also push us into a stress.
Okay, so our time is here and fast gone.
Wow.
And we are very, very glad
Just
to.
having a good time.
We are having a
The
good
time just
time.
flew away.
Yes, the time is
God bless you
gone.
so much.
But we are really glad you were here. We are thanks all our audience for watching it. And as we said, April is National Finance Literacy Month, and we are going to be talking about finance the whole entire time. So please send your questions, send your anything that your contribution. We really want to hear what you have to say. But our prayers and our goal is that by the end of this month, you either be on your road to success, or you have actually changed your mindset. It takes an instantly just changing your mindset to do things differently, and that is what we want you to do. Change your mindset to do things differently, to have the financial freedom that God wants you to have. So before we end, do you have any last minute things that you want to tell our viewers?
Well, all viewers, I think we've said enough, and it's all about getting into, having a mindset to do everything you do wisely and also responsibly. So if you do it wisely and responsibly, you wouldn't go through any financial bondage. So I leave you to think about what you have heard so far. And if you have any more questions, or if you want to obtain your credit report, please go online and then type in www.annualcreditreport or free annual credit report, and then it will give you all the 3 credit bureaus. It's very, very important because nowadays the hackers are on the rise, making sure that they will take advantage of the vulnerable ones like you and I. So a lot of people are getting the identity compromised. So it's a matter of getting it checked and know that what's reported is your information and not anybody else. I greet you all and I bless you in the name of Jesus. Bye.
Amen. Thank you so much. So I will let my co-host talk about our acknowledgements.
Thanks so much, wonderful people, for being with us. We know that you're good stewards and you're ready to learn the principles of the kingdom to help you be a good steward of God's money. So the whole of this month, we're going to be talking about financial freedom. Yes, you can be free. You can have freedom. Bible says that he who the Son has set free is free indeed. So you can experience freedom, but you need to know the principles that God has put in place. So please stay with us this whole month, same time, next week, and the next, and the next. And we're going to be helping you with the principles. Thanks so much to Lean on Jesus Foundation and Ministries for your time and for everything that you're doing to help us bring this program to our lovely viewers. Thanks to Ashon Collections. You can contact Ashon Collections on 024-354-8925 for all your electronic help, anything electronic that you need. Contact Ashon Collections. Also, El Shaddai International Market at 2620 Annapolis Road, 7 Maryland, 21144. God bless you so much. The number is 443-274-2094. Thank you. Over to you.
Okay. So I also want to thank our national head, Apostle Marco, our regional head, Apostle Seminole, and of course our district pastor, Pastor Evans Boatin, and the wife. We also want to thank our technician, and of course all of you guys. We thank you for watching the program. And remember that April is Easter Convention, so the Easter Convention is going to be from the 19th to the 21st of April. So thank you, and thank for you for being our wonderful guest.
You're welcome.
Okay.